Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Quinty, Disembodied Beard John, and Kuro, don't leave yet. I have to show you something. Because James Gurney did a fantastic post. Hold on, must find. Where's the kitty cat post? There it is! He made a kitty cat post. Hold on. That. This artist is so cool. He wets the paper and uses watercolors to make this super fine floofies. And then he goes in and does fine details on the faces. He does amazing cats. So I knew you'd want to see them. So I've been waiting this. He talks about, and isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful, everybody? This is so cool. Yeah, beauteous. Yep. Let's see if there's, there's one with yellow eyes. Hold on, let me get you the name and you can look up more of his stuff. There we go. Andrei Penovac. So yeah, go look up his stuff. Gurney likes to talk about other artists with really different, he's a Serbian artist, born in 1966. Yeah, that's a responsible thing to do, Tristonoma. I mean, Nova and Kiki are both breeding quality dogs for the Shiloh Shepherd gene pool, so that's why we're, Kodiak and I are roped in. Kiki's okay, by the way, everybody. I had to cancel yesterday because Kiki had to have an emergency vet. We went to our regular vet because they somehow managed to get an appointment for us. There must have been a cancellation. We got really lucky. Because she stumbled over me the night before and was really crying. So we took her in, and they say she has a soft tissue injury way down, almost over her rump, actually. She must have landed funky when she caught a Frisbee. And so she's on rest, yeah, only walking, no frizzles, no ball chasing, no trotting or running. Kind of like me, actually. Kiki's on me. Kiki and I are being totally the same, right, Bubba? Except I have my knee and it's your butt. But yeah, so. Hey, Noodle, good girl. Hey, Daffodil, thanks for that Oh! Quintuple subiversary. Happy quintuple subiversary. There you go. Oh, Bubba, what are you doing? She got all excited and she wanted to jump on me when I started singing, but then she couldn't jump. Good girl. That's all right, Bubs. That's all right, Bubs. You're such a good girl. You're so good. You're so good. You're the goodest. You're so goodest. Hi, goodest. Hello, goodest. I love you. Yeah, okay. All right, it's work time, Bub. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, you just wait till you hit actually having puppies, Kodiak. It's terrifying and wonderful. Whelping is terrifying, but raising the little buggers, even though it's a ton of work, they're so awesome. Yeah, that's the only reason I do it again, Bubba. That's the only reason I do it again. Yes. Okay, little bubs. Time to go lay down, okay? Mama's gotta work. We're gonna do eyeballs today. Eyeballs and earses for our Batling. Yeah, we are. She just wants to stand here and get pettins. Oh, actually, she's reminding me I need to give her med really quick. So hold on, guys. Hold that thought. Oh, she knows. I said med. They're chewables, and she really likes them. So 1 second. Let me just give her her pill really quick. Okay, guys? Yeah, we'll give you your pill. Yeah. Hold on. right, there we go. I'm slowly I'm shifting her schedule to be where she can get it before the stream, but it takes a little while to like work that back in 15-minute increments from where we were. Yeah. Good girl, Bubba. Okay, now settle down. Settle down. Yep. Time to paint. It's time to work. All right, so we want to match our bat's eyes to be a brighter orange, just like our pumpkin is just a slightly brighter orange. So I'm going to mix up a brighter orange. By the way, speaking of brighter oranges, if you all missed it, over the weekend we got a lot of work blocked in on Lava Dragon. Like he's all filled in now. And we're going to experiment with different colors of lit up eyeballs. Yeah, he's only just base coated too, so he's only going to get cooler. And I'm so excited. We got our 3D printer set up this weekend. So now it's time for it's almost time for a fairy dragon bust. I bought it this weekend. I bought it in the bronze dragon bust. I still want to do I kind of want to do a series for my Patreon that's just like up for sale. That's about dragons. So especially with how I'm into all these dragon busts lately. God knows how I'm going to find the time to film it when it's all like I'm trying to do so many other things. But, you know, part of me is always optimistic about these things. So we're going to do volcanic. We're going to put 1 drop of orange brown in there, I think. Well, maybe not. Yeah, 1 drop of orange brown. Because we want to take it down just a little bit. We don't want to have super bright eyeballs. So before we were doing more drops of orange brown with just 1 drop of the, or with 1 drop of the Cavalier orange or volcanic orange, and now it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be the orange brown will just be there to help with. Oh, if it comes out of the bottle, it'll be there. The orange brown will just be there to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't checked my Discord yet this morning. Thanks, Quindy. Thanks, Quindy. Hold on. I mean, I'm glad you'll be there. I've been picking brains on my Discord. Oh, I don't see it. It's not showing up. Grr, it's not showing up. Message not showing up. If it's brand new, it's not showing up on my feed yet. Did you send? Oh, you haven't sent it. I got it. Roger. I just want to make sure I remembered to check before I was there tomorrow going, oh, I have a Quindy after all. What up? Kiki's got the squeaky ball, everybody. Be ready. Yeah, it has been a morning. Bubba. Are you going to squeak that? Are you going to disrupt the stream? Kiri used to, but only at the beginning. If you're going to squeak the ball, you can only squeak it at the beginning, Bubba. It's the opening ceremonies. She's just being a silly goof. David stayed home yesterday because I had to take her to rush her to the vet and everything. And so she got an extra day of daddy. And now she's, the first day he goes back to work, she's always like, your bone 6 order's on the way. Awesome. I haven't checked my Yahoo this morning to see. I just assume it'll get here when it gets here. So if you want his eyes to be brighter, guys, we're going to have to underpaint with some white. Because orange is that way. I'll try to just layer it over, but I can tell you, the way orange is, that the burnt orange, the very more orange-brown color that I started with is not going to be... Oh, right before the hamsterling's birthday party. Yeah, just to deny you from opening it, right? Like, you have to wait, because you have to prioritize your child. That's the way the reality works. It's like, and you can't have the thing you want. Yeah, I think the storm isn't supposed to get close to Louisiana, but they still might get rain. Hey, Keeks. Keeks. Oh, that's a different ball. That's not a squeaky ball. That's a different ball. No, I can't play Keeks. It's work. Work. She's like, what is this work you speak of? I want to play ball. So she hasn't been able to play Frisbee, so last night we went out and played Find It in the yard. So David put treats in the grass, which is really hard for her because she's used to being able to, like, cheat and use her eyes. And last night she had to use her nose entirely. And she found 2 without help. And then we had to kind of help her, like, triangulate to get to the third. But yes, I'm very excited we have the 3D printer set up now, so now I can, I'm going to print that fairy dragon bust. But I'm going to get some better resin, not better resin, I'm going to get some new resin first. David doesn't remember. He's like, I'm like, in some ways, it was very, very good to have David, like, totally handling the 3D printing process when we had our first printer. Now that the fear factor is past and I'm like confident I can deal with the printer all on my own, now I'm just like, get out of my way. Because he's so disorganized in some ways. My husband is brilliant but like when he gets distracted or if time passes and he's like focused, like Diablo just came out last night. I'm a Diablo widow for the next month, tops. And it's like, he just like, I'm like, okay, so this is the resin we were using. He's like, but I thought we were using this resin. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we were using this resin. He's like, well, I think I transferred this resin to that container. And I'm like, It's the kind of thing I would never do, everybody. Because anal. So anal, so organized. Oh my God. So yeah. So I'm gonna get a new bottle of resin. Does he not realize that we need to tell Lai Chi what resin we're using to get good results? It's just funny. But I am grateful that David took the first dive into the 3D printing and that he handled it for our first essay into it. I'm going to actually mix a little white into this orange, guys. It's going to help it cover just a tiny bit better. Got my pure white next to it now. And I want to kind of see... Because I'm going to put pupils in, but I kind of want to place them. I kind of want to get the light around the bottom of these eyes first. So I'm just going to do lighter rings in the orange. Then I'm going to take the bright orange and kind of go over those. So I can get a brighter color. Without doing that white underpainting, you're going to be really fighting. Because orange is so transparent. Just like yellow. So we got... See that brighter rim now under that eye? So yeah, that's more like what I'm looking to build up to. So that's good. So that's what we'll do. So let me put the pupils in then. I'll get my... usually I like to use actual black for the pupils because actual black is what we've got. You can use walnut. On smaller models, I often use walnut. Because using stark black and white for eyes on smaller models can make them look really, really weird and not great. But... But on the bigger model, I think I'll go with the black. Mix up just a little bit of it. We can thin it down, and we want to thin it down so that we can get a nice smooth effect. And because black covers so well, that's Reaper's black anyway. There we are. So my book sale is over. Thank you for everybody who either purchased or like told people about it. It did pretty well. Like I'm still getting the nice thing is that now that I have 3 books out is like I sell like a lot of the I sold 68 copies of East of the Sun over those promotions, which is really actually pretty good. In one day, we sold 35 copies, which is great. And then the nice thing about having 3 books is now I'm also selling West of the Moon and Rite of Winter. So So yeah, this is going to be a good month, I think. It'll be interesting to see if I can actually make my money back on the promotions now that I've got 3 books. Matt, the difference between the two is a matter of pigment, and I actually, when I want black, I usually go pure black, but to be honest, if you're not adding white for highlights, you're probably not going to, like, really notice much of a difference. They're all good blacks. The difference is, though, that pure black is a pure flat black, so it's only carbon black pigment. Solid black is a painter's black. It's actually the one that Rhonda really likes the best. And by painter's black, I mean that it's made with mixing not only black pigment, but also blue and brown. And what that does is it gives you just a little bit more complexity. And so, especially if you're going to mix white into it for highlighting, you're going to notice it has a little more life. In other words, it's not just a flat gray. So when you're painting that with color, often if you use a flat gray, it just looks weird, kind of alien. It's like putting graphite pencil next to colored pencil. It just looks off. So a lot of people like the solid black for that reason. Dragon black goes in a different direction. It's a very cold black, so it has actually blue and magenta pigments mixed into it. So it goes in the cold direction. Because walnut goes in the warmer direction, right? Well, the walnut is technically a brown. It will look black if you don't put any pure black on the model. So a lot of people use walnut as a replacement black if they really don't want to use pure black, which a lot of painters don't. It's like an oil painting kind of tradition and it's because black is so artificial, right? But this is a cartoony model, and so I feel like I can use pure black on this model, no problem. So does that all make sense? I try never to put out like a color that's like the same under different names, or when I was in the paint department. I pretty much made, like, all my whites are different, all my blacks are different. Even if it's just a matter of the amount of pigment. With the whites, one of the whites had a different base too. Yeah, I'm the person to come to since I made the darn things. But yeah, for sure. And I also have a PDF that talks about that, guys. I did a black and white PDF a while ago, gosh, a couple of years ago now. You can always find stuff on my Patreon by keyword searching, so you could type in painting black, painting white, or black and white. I think it'll come up in a search of that. So, or if you just type in black, it might come up. But I keyword all my posts for that reason, because I know how hard it is to find everything on Patreon. You could also go to my Discord and do just a general, like, find word search and look for it that way. But in that PDF, and it's a $5 PDF, I go over all of the blacks put out by MSP and all of the whites, and I talk about the differences. Yeah, well, that's why I did the Patreon, Matt. I hate to say this. All of my PDFs are handy, dang it. Yeah, I still love Reaper, and Reaper is awesome in so many ways, but we never had the ability, unless they would have, I blorfed on my pumpkin, I'll have to fix that. We never really had the ability at the time, the resources, to put a lot of this information on the website. Because they would have had to take me away from paint production, but they needed me in paint production pretty much all the time because the paint was selling so well, and I was the mixer and color producer. So I'm just going to touch that up with a little bit of orange. But yeah, so we just never were able to. And then when I, left and went only part-time, now I put all that info just on the Patreon. And I don't mind people, honestly, if you're like, well, I don't want to patron you for a year just to get one PDF or whatever. Just sign on for a month and download everything you can. I don't care. I want the information, to be out there. I've also talked, obviously, I also have talked about this on stream. You're not the first person to ask, but again, it's hard to find that information. So it is out there for free if you doggedly search for it, but yeah. But yeah, it's just, it just was never feasible for us to do it. And believe me, while I was at Reaper mixing paint, there were many times that I wished that I had the time to do it. But there wasn't. I was up to my ankles in alligators in the paint department. It was always go, 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 go. There was really not time to sit down and do a bunch of stuff for the website. All right, so we're going to start with kind of, oh my gosh, eyeball. Then we're just going to, don't panic about it, just slowly make it bigger. And the bigger you make the pupil, the friendlier he's going to look. And this is also a great way to just kind of like keep your, oh, now he's looking kind of cute. He's still looking at you like, you no steal my candy corn. He reminds me of the kobolds in WoW. No steal candle, no take candle, no take candy corn. And I'm just slowly going around this eyeball, slowly enlarging it. Making it also closer, yeah, there we go. He's getting there. Closer to the top of the eye, like humans normally have. But he really does look like you've like shown a flashlight on him while he's sitting happily on his pumpkin eating his stolen candy corn. And he's like, what? I like that. We'll stop there for now. We'll balance out the other eyeball, and then I'll slowly enlarge them or change them as I need to. But yeah, the thing with Reaper is people always forget how small Reaper is when it comes down to it. Like we do business multinationally. We do huge Kickstarters. We pump out a ton of product every year for people. But when it comes down to it, the number of people actually with feet on the floor are much fewer than you think there are. And so running a tight ship is the only way to make a profit. And Reaper has run a very tight ship for very many years. So that's why they're still around when other miniatures companies have died. But yeah, it unfortunately means that we don't get all the resources and all the stuff that we wish we got. Oh, David's still got a lot of common sense. In many ways, he's more down to earth than me, Twisted Oma. But when he gets distracted, things will slip through the loop. The brain sieve opens up and some stuff drops out. Yeah, the company feels bigger than it is. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's dot. We got to kind of keep an eye on, and I'll do like a catch light and everything, and that'll make the eyes look like more realistic. Now, the other thing that using pure black does here, since it's not out of, since our pupils are actually black or appear so, so it's still realistic, quote unquote. But the other thing it does is it gives me maximum contrast. I'm going to have him looking slightly over here, I think. So I want to edge this and just slowly make the eyes a little bigger. Getting there. Slowly. He's really looking at you like you're going to steal his candy corn, isn't he? Oh, I need to resharpen my brush here, get a nicer tip. For the most part, David's a very practical individual, and I really appreciate that with him. He's got great financial sense. He's my fix-it guy. It's amazing the kind of the home improvement stuff that he just kind of like whips out and knows how to do. I think because his dad was big into that. But you'd never think, since he's a tech guy, a tech nerd, and a gamer nerd, you'd never think he was as handy as he is. But he is super handy. He fixed our gate. He's done all sorts of stuff that, to spare us having somebody come in and fix things. Okay, we're a little bit off center, so I'm going to just go a little bit more. And it's very easy to shift the eye at this point. I've got a lot of room. That's better. You don't want him looking off in two different directions. Unless you do. Those are big bad eyes. He's just like, what? What? I think I still need a little bit more on this side. Because his eyes are so bulgy, he's going to naturally look like he's looking in two different directions unless you shift one. Yeah, he is adorbs. Not David the Bat. Well, David too. But, yeah, everybody has strengths and weaknesses, Twisted Oma. That's absolutely true. And I don't think it's necessarily education level or has anything tied to it, just like you said. It's just the way we think is all different. I mean, that's what the coaching stuff, the Clifton Strengths stuff that I do is all about. It quantifies the ways that we are all very different. And, I mean, level of education really doesn't have anything to do with it. There we go. So now, yeah, there we go. Now that pupil looks a little bigger than this one, so we're going to fill it out a little bit. It's not like you're measuring these. It's just like you got to eyeball it and see. You might not be able to spot it, so this is a good feedback point to ask people. There we go. I like this. Make it just a tiny bit bigger on this side. But to ask people, you know, and people will spot it. Like, you don't even have to ask them about the eyes. In fact, it's better if you don't. Just ask them, does everything look right? And if the eyes bother them, they'll tell you so. And then you know that maybe you're a little bit bigger pupil on one side than the other. There we are. There we are. Okay, now we're going to make the rims of the eyes brighter. Hey, Roger. He's a grumpy batling, and he does not want to give up his candy corn. See, I feel it's even more like certain specific types of personalities are drawn toward like certain like more school, right? Like that's not always true. Like I have learner at number 2, but I never went on to like, you know, get a graduate degree or anything like that. So it varies, but it's like different types of brains like that different may be attracted to that particular type of stuff. And so that's what I mean, because the meme of the absent-minded professor, if David had actually gone into academia like he almost did, that would be David. Because he'd be like focusing on one thing and then something else would happen and he would completely lose focus on the one thing and focus on the other thing. He has a superpower. He has a focus superpower. It's actually more powerful than mine, but like it is very much more single focus than mine. Like because my strategic thinking makes me split all the time looking for the best route, whereas he's like, okay, this is the thing I'm doing, and he just laser focuses on it and wham. But that's why he like finishes so many models so quickly, and you know he has a very few. I kind of almost want to make him angry, guys. Do we want to make him a little angry? We can do that. All we need to do is take lining and kind of suggest that his brows are creasing down a little bit on the interior. Do we want him to be an angry batling? Like a grumpy batling? Because if we do, I can do that. How dare you ask me to share? Yes. Alrighty. So, maybe we'll make him a little grumpier. Let's try to make him grumpier, and if we don't like it, we can always, like, bring the eye back out. So if we want to make him grumpier, we have to, like, give the impression that his brows are scrunching down a little bit. So we have to take the liner and make a little bit of an angle in the eye. And then we'll have to bring the brow down a little bit more. And we're just going to do it with paint. There we go. That looks a little bit angrier. A little bit too much on the right, but a little bit angrier. He only got candy corn. I don't know, candy corn's pretty good. Or it used to be before they like dropped the freaking honey out in favor of corn syrup. It tastes totally different now. Yeah, the don't you steal my treat. Exactly. Well, Twisted Oma, if that really bugs you, you should have him clearly label everything. That's what David does actually for that sort of thing. So like the funnels and the containers that use resin should have a big resin no dishwash on them. And that way it'll be a reminder. That's what I would do. Like, I like doing that anyway. I like having things clearly labeled. Alright, we've got our orange on that side. You can see how I did the under painting of the little bit of white. And that's a much brighter eye now, so we're going to bring this one out. And then we're going to do a big catch light. No, it isn't. They dropped the honey out in favor of, because honey's expensive, right? And if you get, there's one brand that still has the honey, and it specifically says it, but you have to check the ingredients, Kodiak. Like, check the ingredients on the candy corn. And I think it's the Sprouts candy corn, actually. Like the Sprouts brand, if you have a Sprouts near you. But one of them still has honey in it, and still tastes like the way it should taste. But you have to just check the ingredients on any candy corn you pick up. If there's no honey, then you know it's the new crap. Because it was the honey that made that cool flavor that they used to have. I feel bad for kids today. Like, they're just throwing corn syrup at them every direction. Yuck. I wouldn't do color coding, because the thing with color coding is that although it has meaning to you, it might not have meaning to the person. I would absolutely, like, clearly label in big letters with a Sharpie, or, like, put a big, like, it's the problem, yeah, he'd have to, anything, I mean, maybe put a piece of blue tape around so that you can spot it before the dishwasher runs, or a red tape. Like a red masking tape. Because sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes people are just distracted, and that's the way their brain is running. And if you put a big red tape around it, then you can always check the dishwasher before it runs and make sure. Right, yeah, and that works. The assume everything here is touched resin area works as long as somebody's not distracted, or as long as everybody's on the same page, right? But if you actually have, like, a piece of, like, 2 pieces of, like, red masking tape wrapped around the Pyrex that the resin goes in, with a no dishwash, resin only, you know, written on it, both sides, in Sharpie, then you know, right? Then you know that is the biggest visual cue you can give. But color coding, yeah, color coding and having a place for stuff, that can get messed up so easily. Like, because the person who didn't create the system might not be triggered by, like, might not have that part of their brain that really, like, snaps on color coding, right? It doesn't work for everybody, and, like, you know, it's not sure that they'll remember that if they didn't create the system, right? That's the thing about systems. Everybody has a different way, a different thing that's going to trigger them to remember, oh, yeah, I'm not supposed to X, or, oh, this goes somewhere else, right? And that's why I think labeling is just the easiest. You can color code and label because you could use the colored masking tapes. They make all different colors. And or even like, I suppose even duct tapes. I don't know what would be the most like, you know, wash safe. But I think colored masking tape works. Yeah, I think clear labeling needs to be the winner on that. Okay, so now we're going to actually highlight. Now we've got both eyes being very nice and orange, so it's working really well with the pumpkin down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to lighten this area down in the bottom, because if light is coming on the model from the top, like our zenith says, then the light is going to pass through the eye, because eyes are translucent, and it's going to, just like a gemstone, it's going to highlight the bottom iris. So we'll do that in a second. Let me get this all. We'll use our white again. I think I'm going to use, we've got two choices. We can use the Cavalier or the Sunrise. I think I'll use Cavalier because Cavalier over white actually goes really close to yellow. But with masking and duct tape, yeah. Oh, Sam. Trolling. You're supposed to make sure you don't, like, eat toxic things, not troll. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say clear labeling is still the win, Twistedoma. Clear, big labeling. Get some colored masking tape. Put big loops of it around the containers. Big print on the Sharpie with the, you know, no dishwash, you know, resin. Or resin, toxic. Do something like that, right? And then specifically show them to your husband and say, this is the system. When you see this, don't put it in the dishwasher. Because, yeah, that can have repercussions for safety for the whole household. So that absolutely makes sense to be very, very clear. Have you tried doing the clear label, like really clear label with color, with the big, like, bright tape? If not, I hope it works. Like, I'm very paranoid about toxicity and foodstuffs and everything, so I'm pretty, we bought a separate Pyrex to use for that, and we have separate containers. And luckily, since our printer is in the garage, that stuff just never comes in the house. It's like, garage stuff does not come in the house. And David and I both get that. But if he started getting really absent-minded about that, then I would need to, like, take further steps, and I would take the clearly labeling with big tape. Yeah, you could get a toxic sticker. A big skull and crossbones, Twistedoma. Anything that forces him to, like, look at it, right? Because that's just the thing. When you're absent-minded and you're just wandering around with a thing in your hand, and you're like, oh, I need to wash this, and some part of your brain just goes dishwasher, right? But if you see a giant skull and crossbones, or, you know, bright red tape with, you know, toxic, do not dishwash thing on it, then at least that gives you another chance to, like, stop yourself. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so, yeah, just, I mean, there's got to be a way that'll work, Twistedoma, and you may just want to ask him, you know, also, what system is going to work best for you? But if he's told you in the past that the system you have works and obviously doesn't, then, well, then that's when you, yeah, that's when you have to just say, this is our new system. I'm putting it in. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to take long. You need him to concentrate on you and listen to you for, like, a good minute. That's all you need. You don't need to make it into a big production number that's going to get put off. It just needs to be, I need 1 minute of your time. All right, what's the system? And suggest the whole clearly labeling, because honestly, I do feel that is the most universal. That's why they do it in labs. The most universal thing. So it's the most likely to work. All right, so then we got a little bit of a crescent of white down there. We're going to take our Cavalier. But the other thing to remember is that he's going through treatments, isn't he? And that can mess with your brain. Like, My friend Sue, who had to go through cancer treatments, she said that when she was going through them, she had a really hard time remembering and keeping track of stuff. So that's something also to remember. So I'm going to do another one. Here, I'm going to get closer for you guys. Yeah, like I was saying, with the treatment too, whenever you have got medical stuff going on, you've always got that even if it's not like chemical treatments like cancer can be, or radiation or whatever, you can just be so stressed out that you're just not tracking right. There we go. So you see, guys, we're just lightening that up. So it may not even be that he doesn't want to make an effort. It may just be that he is so worried and stressed out, and if he is on meds or he's going through treatments, then that can also affect that stuff. So yeah. Sometimes it's not a lack of desire, sometimes it's just, stress or other physical stresses on the body. So but yeah, having him work with you on creating a system, I would come to the table with a couple of suggestions and see how he responds. Because if you just say, let's make a system, and then neither of you has any suggestions ready, you can just sit there and stare at each other, right? Or maybe you talk a lot, but nothing actually gets done. There, so you see how I'm bringing up that lighter color on the bottom. And I'm going to make a little bit of the light go more toward the inner part of the eye too. But when I bring it there, notice how it pushes the eyes apart. So actually it pushes the pupils apart. So I'm actually going to go over that a little bit. I should have realized that. When you put a light between two darks, it makes the area there look wider, the light area look wider. And so I'm actually going to go in and darken that area down with a darker orange. Yeah, that's true. Or even ask him why a previous system you tried didn't work for him. And if he doesn't know, then it's probably, honestly, stress or something else that's impinging on him. There we go. All right, so I'm darkening that area down again, and that'll make the eyes not feel pushed apart as much. All right. Now I want a big white. Now this is the catch light, and we can paint over this area several times. And I usually don't put it straight up. I put it front and center, like a little off angle. And here, if I wanted to be looking directly at you, I'm going to try to put it kind of focused a little bit toward the inside at you. I can also make it a little bigger, and I can change the shape of it. Catch lights are not always... There, that's a little better. A little wider. Catch lights aren't always round. That it's the shape of the light that's reflecting, right? So if you're sitting next to a window, you're actually going to have more like squared off catch lights or longer ones. There we go. I like that. Excellent. This one actually is a little long and it kind of goes up a little bit, so I'm going to trim that down. Doop, 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 doop. But yeah, I know that even with systems I'm really good at that if I get very stressed out, I will forget things. For a while I was really using the Todoist app, and then I don't remember when it just crashed and burned, but everything had come to such a head and I had so much on my plate that I got so stressed out I stopped checking it. And then it was no longer a good system for me. Now I'm trying to work my way back into it because I do like the ability to jot down in a little task into it, just so I don't forget something for the future. So I'm trying to make it work for me again. But it's taking some habit forming. I'm having to make myself check it every day. Let's see. Okay, Batty. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I still feel like this eye could be a little closer to the inside, this pupil rather. So now we can still make adjustments, and we can also adjust if we want more orange. If we decide we want to push this orange a little bit more in, we can just paint over the part of the pupil with white and then put the orange down. I like this. I think he's looking pretty good. But yeah, this is the thing about systems though. It's like sometimes the system is perfectly okay. You're not. But yeah, but I'm really happy now because I know I have 3 months with no travel, no crazy obligations, and I'm just like all into it. So let's do something kind of cool. I don't do this very often, but I mention a lot that skin tones are really just orange with white and usually a little bit of something to mute it. We need a skin tone for Bat's ears membranes and his little wing membranes. I want to make those the same color. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this orange, we're going to take volcanic orange, which is a more reddish orange, and we're going to put a drop down and we're going to put some white in it. We're going to see what color it makes. We're going to see if it might even be a good skin tone for the bat. So let's bring this down a bit. There it is. But yeah, so what's happening, and I told David about this, I'm like, since I'm going to be trying to do a lot of this on my own, you should be warned that this 3D printing area, I should have taken before and after pictures. I really should have. But let's just say that when I went out there to clean, I wanted to clean off every utensil and all the surface. After that spill, I felt like there might still be resin on the table because I could still smell it. So I essentially ripped everything and threw things out and wiped everything down with alcohol and washed the table with alcohol numerous times. But it was just covered in a slew of stuff. And now it's anal. It's clear printer, wash station, wash machine, curing station, and everything neatly stored and in its little nook. It's just funny. I'm just that way. I know everybody is not that way. And honestly, at my painting desk, I'm not necessarily that way. But with the 3D printer, I feel like I need to be because it's toxic, right? Because it has that thing going on. So we added some white. We don't have a skin tone yet. We'll add another drop of white. And I'll add a little bit of water just to make it there. We'll mix that up. Oh, look at that, peoples. It's starting to look almost skin tony. Let's add another drop. Let's add another drop. And from here, I'll tune it. I wanted it a little bit pinker, for one thing. But if you're doing an analogous color scheme that has orange in it, be aware that you can mix your own skin tones this way. Now, it is looking more almost like a creamsicle, but it is working. It is working for a skin tone right now. Now we would tune it. You could add a little bit more yellow to it to have it go a little more golden. You could have add a little pink to it. I'm going to add more white. I want to make it lighter. Yeah, this is starting to look really good actually. So if you want something that's like Bright Skin, folks, like Bright Skin that got canceled, volcanic orange plus white. That's close. So now I want a pink tone, and I'm going to use another orange for this, but I'm going to use Magma Red. which is a very orangey red. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm actually not going to rinse out my brush because I want a little bit of this in here. Now that's going to come off a very coral color. But I like this. I like this as the shadow, and that is a highlight, and I may just run with this. I made my first Facebook ad, to go on a totally different segue here. I created my first Facebook ad image yesterday, ever. I was very scared by Facebook ads when I started like doing writerly stuff because you have the potential to just like blow a lot of money and you have to create your own images, and I was like scared of that. But there's this great writer guy. He used to be a Google employee, actually. He's Irish. David Gogren. He's wonderful. He's so funny. And he's like, and Facebook is his medium. And so he has these great videos on YouTube that totally make it easier. So much easier. Like, I don't know why I was so scared of doing this. But I created my first Facebook ad image for East of the Sun, and I'm going to run a promo, my first Facebook ad soon. So if you guys see it pop up on your feeds, you'll know why. So we're going to put down this, the pinky color first on the inside of the ear here. This, by the way, is an awful lot like Bright Skin Shadow. Ooh, what am I doing? I'm teaching you to create Bright Skin Shadow and Bright Skin out of just mixing white with orange, guys. Pay attention. I'm giving you secrets. Isn't it like that, though, sometimes? I mean, I'm that kind of person. I'll be really scared of doing a thing, and then I'll finally, like, you know, grit my teeth because I have to or whatever, or I've decided I'm going to try it. And then I do the thing, and then the thing is so much easier than I thought the thing would be. There we go. That's a nice pink. I like that. And then we'll highlight it with the orange. But yeah, so now I'm excited about my first Facebook ad. I'm going to keep my book on sale for a little longer, and now that the book promos are all done, the email lists are all done, I'm going to run the same time period of Facebook ads at the sale price, and I'm going to compare them. Because it's October, it's not, the holiday surge hasn't started yet, it's pretty neutral as far as book sales go, and so I'll be able to directly compare how my promo sites promos went compared to Facebook ads for the same period of day and the same sale price, or the same period of days. I think that'll be a nice little experimental thing. And then I can work on improving. This is the kind of nerdity that I really love. There's his little pink ears. So cute. So cute. Oh, so cute. Oh, he's actually even cuter if I look at him from different. He's definitely looking straight ahead. He's so cute. He's the cutest. Yeah, he just gets cuter and cuter. Yeah. All right, and we're going to use this same pink to do his little wing membranes too. And then there's a little bit of membrane way up here. That might actually be fill. Yeah, I don't think I want that. It's not a membrane. Boop, 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 boop. Take that off. I guess it's a shadow. So we'll just leave that. It's fill, so we'll just leave that black. I will paint it in black to make people not look at it. There. There's a tiny little bit of membrane there. Just that little bit. Pink always makes things look cuter, right? All right. Sweet. But yeah, I can tell I'm rejuvenating, like I'm regenerating my energy, because I often, like when I was really in the midst of like launching like East of the Sun and West of the Moon, I just had no energy to learn this stuff at all. But now I've got my learning energy back. I find that there's definitely like, and this may apply to you also, maybe something that's real. If you've thrown yourself into the hobby, just learning everything you can, especially if you're a learner type like me, but you start to just feel tired and like you just don't have any energy for the hobby, it may be just that you've overlearned yourself. You've taken on too many different topics, too many different things, and then you don't have energy left to actually do your hobby. So be wary of that if you are like me and you love to learn all the things as fast as you can, is that can actually like burn you out a little bit, and then it takes your energy, right? So, and it's great, you love it, but the best way to learn in miniature painting is to learn a thing and then to apply the thing like as quickly as you can after you learn it. So if you learn, and then you've got no energy left to actually apply the thing, you actually won't learn it as well. You won't get as much out of that learning experience. So be wary of that if you are that kind of person who's always looking for the next class or the next article or the next, Patreon or whatever. Like, you can absolutely overcommit and end up using all your energy just looking at what other people are doing, and none of it doing it yourself to help set those lessons in your brain. Burnout is a pain, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes that's coming from a place of like subconsciously you're avoiding actually painting for yourself because you know it isn't going to look as good as like the instructors that you just learned from. But you're cutting yourself short there. The point is to practice. The point is not to be brilliant out the gate. The point is to practice. There's a reason that meditation is a practice. Yoga is a practice. Painting is a practice. Writing is a practice. Anything creative is a practice. No one is brilliant the first time they try. And if that person is out there somewhere, we don't like them very much. I'm paraphrasing that from Anne Lamott. In her book, Bird by Bird, she's like, we all write crappy first drafts. Everybody. Me, you, everybody. And honestly, there may be a couple of people out there in the world who write brilliant, sterling, wonderful first drafts the first time out, but we don't like them. Yeah. Yeah, medicine would be a higher intensity, higher stress practice for sure. But it is one, right? Like, I bet, like, as a doctor, you're constantly like learning new things, right? You're able to come to your patients with like more nuanced views. You understand more how different everybody is. You learn new ways something can present. I always say that to me, like doctors like are like detectives. I think that's why House was such a popular show. Well, part of it. But it was really like Sherlock Holmes of medicine, right? Oh, so cute. Look at how cute, everybody. Look how cute. I'm so cute from the side, he says. Look how adorable I am. So cute. Yeah, the pink ears. The pink ears, guys. It's all about the pink ears. What NaNoWriMo is good for, Kodiak, is if you have a problem with starting or continuing because the fear gets in the way, the fear that it won't be good, if you have perfectionist tendencies that make you want to stop when you've written the first chapter and just go back and tune the first chapter over and over, that kind of thing, Nano is a good cure for that, because if you commit to Nano, you've got to write a lot a day. And the recommendation is that you do not go back and edit. You just go. And Nano is a great tool for teaching you how to finish, how to keep going and how to finish. I usually, because I write longer, I would write 50,000 words in November when I've won Nano. But I usually have to actually finish the book in December. But if you start with a more manageable idea and you're not, like, if you run into a thing where you're not sure what this next scene is, but you know what the scene after that is, you can put gaps in your manuscript that you can then go back and fill in later, and you can do a whole story in 50,000 words. So I think Nano is actually, like, good practice for beginning writers. I mean, I've been doing it since, like, 2007. What you realize with Nano, like, the other thing that Nano teaches you is, are you able to just write, or do you need to outline a lot, right? If you're not sure if you're a pantser or a planner, or you're somewhere in between that continuum, it can lead you to best practice. Because if you find that you absolutely bust if you don't have an outline, or you find that if you have an outline, you're constantly deviating from it and writing in a different direction, that gives you useful information about your own writing style, and that's the only writing style that should ever concern you, by the way. Your own writing style that you function best at, right? So that's another piece of information that Nano can give you. And for me, what Nano does is it gives me a clear and concrete goal to commit to. That's why, like, East of the Sun was written, like I said, it was written in Nano and then finished in December. And West of the Moon, I did the same thing the following year. So, although West took a lot more time after that because it's a very long book. So I'm going to go and continue just kind of blocking this. And I want a good solid coat of this, guys. So we'll do 2 coats because it's a lesser, it's not as opaque. And I thinned it as well. Yeah. Yeah, but Nano has many things to offer. I mean, it makes you finish, right? You commit. And depending on what motivates you, for me it was like I had to just firm commit to it and then throw my entire life into it. Some people, it works for them because they tell everyone they're doing it and then they can't, like, they have to follow through then because they told all their friends and their family members they were doing it. So, like, not finishing then, is higher stakes for them. However, you need to do it to increase the stakes so that you will actually follow through. But, like, for me, I'm realizing that I have to have the book at a certain level of completion in my head before I put it on as a Nano project. If I don't, I won't finish Nano. This year, I'm probably not going to do the romance for Nano. I'm going to do my little cute, cozy progression fantasy, Queenmaker, the first book. Because I realized this very recently. Well, I always tell you guys, I have to think an awful lot to make this story come together before I start writing it. And I've realized that I don't have enough information yet about the romance in my head. Like, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still coming up with cool ideas. I'm learning more about the characters in my head. I come up, with ways that they're going to interact. But I don't have enough of that yet to actually start writing the book. For me, because I'm a thinker, right? But not everybody is like me. And a lot of people want to surprise themselves with the book, so they just start. And it works for them. So I think that the most useful thing you can ever find out as a new writer is to try different things and to make a note of what works best for you. Just like with mini painting, right? Because everyone is different, and every writer and every painter is different, and what works really well for that other guy, or even for me, might not work for you. Like, if you're high empathy, maybe you have to really be connected with the emotional thread of the story, right? If you are like high discipline, maybe you have to have like bullet points and lists and chapter outline and all that stuff before you can write the story. If you're like me and you're high intellection, you have to think a lot about the story before you actually are ready to write it. Those are all valid. Peer pressure works for you? Yeah, good. Well, I wish. Peer pressure doesn't work for me. I get grumpy, and then I just kick it to the curb and say, screw y'all. It's funny. So, like, accountability partners, unless I really love the person, accountability partners do not work for me. And I can never enter into it with an accountability partner, like, agreement. I just have to kind of, like, remind myself that I don't want to disappoint that person. But if I actually have a person reminding me to do stuff, it drives me crazy. Like, I can't do it. So if peer pressure works for you, I'm jealous. I wish it worked so well for me. It doesn't. I'm very much a self-motivator, which is both a curse and a blessing. You'd think it would be a blessing, right? But it's not, because I still require like a certain amount of give a shit in order to execute. So then I have to find a way to manufacture that amount of give a shit. Pardon my French. We're cussing on stream. It's one of those. Yeah, we'll dedicate this stream to Ed. Whenever I cuss on stream, it's we're gonna etiquette. It's etiquetted. We've etiquetted it. I etiquette this stream. There we go. We've got a nice solid pink now. That looks great. Now, pink and orange do tend to clash, but we built this pink directly out of oranges, and we're gonna highlight it with the orangey color that we built from using one of these oranges and just adding white. So it should come together just fine. Etiquetted. It's a cussing day, yes. But yeah, so figuring out what motivates you, like, I don't know if you've figured out yet, Kodiak, if you're a planner or a pantser. A lot of people start out just pantsing, just trying to write. If you find that you really have problems because your plotting is weak, for example, you're not sure what should come next, or stuff like that, then you might be a little more of a plotter, and it might work to like bullet point stuff out. If you're not sure and you're like gonna jump into Nano this coming November, which would be awesome, actually, Kodiak. I would love to have a fellow Nano person to accompany me this year. Somebody I know. But one of the things you can just try is to sit down before you write that day and take 5 minutes to just bullet point what you want to happen in the chapter. Think about it. Think about the really cool things you want to happen in this chapter. If you think about the really cool things, and there should be really cool things. If there aren't really cool things, you need a different chapter. But yeah, so sometimes if you like to still like discovery write, like I tend to do quite a bit of, but you also know you want to keep yourself going and not stall out because suddenly, oh my god, I don't know what comes next. Bullet pointing just that chapter that you're working on can be really helpful. It also gives you some place to go if you do stall out in the middle of writing, because then all you do is you look at your bullet points and go, oh yeah, I need to do this. Well, let's just start that then. Let's just go there. That'll be the next thing that happens. I'm going to do again a little bit of wet blending with the orange and the pink to try to highlight this little ear. And I'm going to leave the pink in the crevices. And all this is true of mini painting as well. As always, I always try back. If I'm going to babble on about writing, I may as well, show you guys the parallel that exists in mini painting. If you don't know what's next, make a list of bullet points, right? Or remember like what really you thought was cool about the model and concentrate on that. If you're staring at the model and you don't know how to start with the part that you like. Or you can do the reverse if you know you're like me and start with the part that you think is boring so that you still have excitement when you're later on in the process. If you tend to ground out and not finish things, then I would recommend painting the boring things first. Or at least giving it a try. So I'm doing a bit of wet blending because I'm impatient and I'm on stream. I might layer this normally. I would thin down the orange. Actually, let's just thin it a little bit more. But yeah, nano is fun, and I think the thing to remember is it is fun. It can feel like real pressure because that's a lot of words a day. I find, I guess another tip I would give you, Kodiak, is that I always split it up. I actually find that I have my most productive days and my happiest days during nano if I make myself like get up just like 15 minutes earlier so that I just have a 15-minute writing block right before like I have to like eat breakfast or get on stream or whatever, right? If I can just do like a few hundred words in that 15-minute block, even a couple hundred, it cuts down the number of words for the rest of the day, and it makes me feel more relaxed because I've already done some of my writing, right? I've already gotten more than 0 words for the day. So that's another thing that you can try if you find that you're feeling really pressured and it's making it hard for you to write later in the day. Sneaking in, and even more, you could do like a half an hour and try to get like 500 words. Some people do all of their nano in the morning. I've never been able to free up that much morning time because I like my sleep too much. But I do like doing the 20 minutes before stream or the 20 minutes, before breakfast. So we've got that. You can see the difference. That's just pink. Then we've got that pinky orange going on. I like that actually. So that can help a lot. It helps me a lot to just do a few hundred words right away in the morning. And then the bulk of my writing I usually do like right after lunch. Well, because I'm an earlier day person. I start getting tired later in the day. So I know it's going to be very hard for me to do a big block of words late at night. Although I used to. Like there was at least, when I was writing East of the Sun, I remember I would stay after work at Reaper and just like turn off the lights in my office and light a candle and just like write right after work before I went home. There we go. After I'd clocked out and done all that. But yeah, so you'll figure out too what kind of time of days work for you. And doing that kind of split up thing, like if you do split it up, you do a little in the morning, you do a little in the midday over lunch, and then you do a bit in the evening, and maybe you even do a bit late at night before bed, you're very quickly going to find where your ideal writing time is, which is great. It's even better, I don't know if you're a spreadsheet type of person or if you're this anal Kodiak, but I keep a writing spreadsheet. And I make a note of how many words I do at each, like, it's just one block for the day, because I have a graph that lets me see my progress line go up. But I make a note in the notes column of how many words I got, at each time chunk. And usually, then over time, you'll be able to see that you regularly write more, say, right before bed. Say you sit down right before bed and it's super easy for you to do 1,000 words. Like the time flies and your brain just, chunks in and you just go. Then you know that, nighttime is probably your best time to write. And it's worth knowing these things. And this can be true with painting as well, guys, if you have the freedom. I mean, some people do paint miniatures on their lunch hours and stuff like that. But if you have the freedom to kind of look at that, it can give you very useful information for your creative pursuits, because then you're going to know, say when it comes to the weekend, if you know that your best creative time is right after lunch and that you tend to be really productive and it's easy for you to get in the zone right after lunch, you can prioritize your painting or your writing right after lunch on the weekends and then free up the rest of your day for other stuff. So knowing what time of day works for you when it comes to just relaxing and like enjoying the hobby, and that can even be true if you work all day and you just come home, right? There's definitely a difference for me, at least, between trying to paint like right after supper or trying to paint later at night. So even that, in that way, you can kind of like look at yourself and see what's my best time to do this? When do I have the most energy for it? When do I get in the flow? You know, when do I get in the zone easier? Writers, it's a little bit easier because you can easily take your writing to work and work on your lunch hour, because you just, you know, you got your laptop or your notepad or whatever, and you just sit down and do it. It's a little harder to carry all your miniature stuff with you. But yeah, I've spent a very long time trying to figure out, just kind of trying to life hack me, right? Life hack, what's my best time to do X, right? When am I most productive if I want to get stuff done? Yeah. Yeah, caffeine can be that way. I can't have caffeine anymore, so I've had to like break it down without caffeine now. Um, but yeah, I mean, but then again, then you also have to look at, if that's true, then Kihasu, then probably late at night is not your best time to do your hobby stuff because caffeine will interfere with your quality of sleep. For most people, it does. Even if you feel like it doesn't, if you actually were wearing a sleep monitor, you might find out different. And if it doesn't interfere with your sleep, then I'd worry about how much caffeine you were actually having all day. Because I used to have, oh gosh, I used to over-caffeinate like crazy, and I swore it didn't interfere with my sleep at all when I was in college. I wasn't wearing a sleep monitor at that point, so I had no idea of really knowing that. But I think we do acclimate to it, so I do sleep a lot better since I don't do it anymore. Ah. No, it can give you the energy. No, I understand that. I used to use it that way, where I would just be like, you know, oh, I don't have the energy to do this, especially if I had a little bit of resistance going on, but then the caffeine would flood me and I'd be like, I could do anything, and I would go and I would do it right away. So yeah, I could see that. So I could see the caffeine breaking down the resistance, helping at any rate. A lot of us have resistance to sitting down and doing our creative work. It's like our brain's trying to protect us. It's like afraid that we won't succeed or that it'll be terrible or whatever. And we've got those little fears playing out in our mind that it won't be as cool as what we want it to be, or we're not really good at this, and why are we even bothering? You know, depending on our individual brain, we'll have different narratives. But yeah, so in that case, the caffeine can help you get past those voices. Well, and succeed is a loaded word. What does it mean? It's different for everybody. Yeah, I like his ears. His ears are so cute. So cute. Cutest ears ever. All right, I'm going to make a little bit of a lighter color even than that, just to pick up a little bit more with the ears, a little bit more detail. Because right now we've got these two colors, and although that's light, it's not even close to, you know, white. So I'm going to actually go up another level with that orange fleshy color. I carry it over to the next well. I'm going to put some Osirian sand in it so it gets some yellow in it, I think, to warm it up just a little. But yeah, motivation's a tricky thing. And everybody's different. Some people won't be motivated because they're like looking for recognition and they feel like, you know, that they're not getting any, so it frustrates them and they lose motivation. Some people are only interested in it when they're still, learning, and they feel like when they stall out, then they lose motivation. Some people are afraid that it won't be as good as they want it to be, and then it's a big lump, sitting between them and actually executing, right? And they lose motivation. And there's many different, some people are looking for the best way to do a thing, and if they feel like they haven't found it yet, then they don't paint, and there's their lack of motivation, right? So it's so different for everybody. Some people have to think about a project more before they do a thing. Some people have to block out bigger time blocks because they have to focus. They need more time to focus. Some people have to have a really orderly work area before they feel like they can actually execute. There's all sorts of that stuff. Some people can't create if they're at all in emotional turmoil about anything. If they're stressed out or emotional about any other thing, creativity goes right out the window. So, yeah, motivation is so complicated. One word for so many different things that can be happening. Now, since I thinned down this orange, it's not going to be quite as strong. But we'll get these he's a very cartoony critter, so I don't feel the need to really blend these wings in. One of my new patrons asked me to do something on cell shading, like cartoon style mini painting. What do you guys think? Sound like a cool topic? Get that little bit of highlighting in there. Oh, you went to Spiel. Awesome. Yep, Golden Demon. Yep. Yeah, there was some great models. I was just looking at the winners. If you guys haven't checked out the winners from the European Golden Demons, go do it. They're good, really good stuff. Some really fantastic models. And the Slayer Sword winner is a stock model, which I love it. Every time that happens, I just love it. It's so different from when I used to do Golden Demons. I love that they keep sending that message. Yeah, I'm jealous you could go to Spiel. That's really cool, Kihasu. It's great to go to Golden Demon and see all the cool stuff. Let me see if this is actually going to be too thin, guys. I thinned down that really pale color. This is what I built. So there's that off-white kind of golden color, and I'm going to see if it shows up when I put it up here. Oh yeah, it does actually. It's just enough, I think. That just lets him pop just a little bit more. Next town over. Yeah, that's nice. That's really cool. Yeah, those models were fantastic. And there were a couple women who won, I saw, which makes me even happier because Europe has been behind for a decade or more. As far as female mini painters being part of the top echelon. And I feel like I was very encouraged this year to see multiple women winning awards. There we go. So that little bit of extra highlighting really makes this pop. That's really nice. Makes me happy because, when I started in hobbying in general, I was one of very, very few women And that's true of like role playing games and miniature painting and all that. It's come a long way. But yeah, like when Liliana and Jennifer and me were winning Golden Demons, we were like the only ones. Like it was so weird. When we first started going to places like the historical venues, like the Chicago show, um, like we always got asked if we were there with our husbands. Yeah, it'll get better though. The more women, and this is the thing, Kahasu, and in the USA, I was one of the people who really got like more women into the hobby, like because the more women you have out there who are like painting at a high level, if those women also teach, like make that jump to teaching, or if they do articles, or if they do a Patreon, or they do whatever, the more they get out there and the public eye, the more it becomes like acceptable for women, other women, to get in. So the door is cracked open, and how fast it like how whether you get more than 1 to 6 is going to depend on that, right? Because with us, when me and Sue and Jennifer Haley and Marika Reimer and Liliana Troy and Marika and Jess Rich were later, but everybody taught, right? And you did competitions, you went to the conventions, you saw people. Me and Sue, I know, and maybe the others, I have no idea, but I went out of my way to encourage women and girls to pick up the hobby. And that's important. Otherwise, it stays a boys' club. Yeah, Angela. Yep, Angela Emery. Yep. Yeah, and so like me and Jennifer did videos for Dark Sword miniatures. I started working for Reaper and went to the cons and was painting at the Reaper booth, and Jennifer was painting at the Cool Mini booth at that time, and that's what does it. Like women will walk by or they'll see your video and they'll be like, "Oh, girls, women can do this. I can do this." It makes it more acceptable. Yeah. Yep. Yes, the more females there are, the more welcome it. Yeah, and that is a thing too, right? The more women are there, the more new women will feel like they belong. Yeah, comfortable. That's a thing. Yeah. Yes, nerds are the same everywhere. It was the same. It still is the same in some U.S. Areas, but in general, we've come a long way. Now back here, we don't have a lot of the striations, and I think I'm just going to do a general little highlight with my orangey color. I'm going to leave the pink at the edges, and I'm going to make more of a paler color at this toward the center. But yeah, and it's all of that, and it just takes time. But I mean, now that like, especially I think Dungeons and Dragons, and like other role playing games helped kind of knock the door down too, like the World of Darkness setting. There was a lot of women who got into playing vampire when it was about. But now D&D is there's a ton of women, and things like Critical Role and Stranger Things are getting that out in the public eye more, and then girls get interested because it's creative, right? It's a creative hobby, and we're drawn to those just as much as guys are. So yeah, I think it'll come. Now after this Golden Demon, I'm feeling really good about Europe. Like I was kind of worried. I kept waiting for like there to be like some really good European painters who really came out and kicked butt and were public about it. But I feel a lot better now after seeing the results this year. I feel like when it was in the UK, I feel like it was very, very much still, and you say it's still a boys' club, but it was even more so. Wow, spouse's table. And I'm sad that that was ReaperCon. I'm so sad that that was ReaperCon. They should know better. Anybody at ReaperCon who pulls that crap should know better. Especially with me on the floor. You should have just come over and got me and I would have kicked ass. You would have seen Anne on the warpath. Spouse's table my ass. I would have gone on the mic. It would have been mortifying and highly gratifying. Yeah. Still, that just shows that it's still out there anywhere. That conviction. Like when we went to like Chicago show and stuff and they asked us if we were there with our husbands, it was usually, we couldn't take it personally because it was usually one of those like spouses. It was usually the older ladies who were the wives of the competitors who were actually manning the desk. And they would light up when they saw me and Jen come up, you know, like, oh, yay, more women, you know, but then they'd ask, you know, are you here with your husband? And we'd be like, no, we're actually painters. They'd be like, oh, really? It was really cool. I know, right? Oh, okay, Quindy. Thanks. That's cool. Keep it private. We don't need the entire community to come bashing on top of some poor person who this happened years ago, and for all we know, they've changed their mindset. But I'm curious. I'm curious. All right, so just highlighting it just down a little bit there. Yeah, I mean, even people I don't get along with in the hobby, I try to give credit. Over time they can change. Sometimes they don't, you know, but sometimes they do, and so you gotta give room for that. I'm curious now though, Quindy, so I'm totally gonna look. Well, when you message me, I'll see it later. Oh, interesting. Ho ho. Well, that person is no longer, well, they're still around, but yeah. We'll talk more. Yeah. And that person should have known better. There would have been some major... If you had let me know that, if we had been friends at that point, Quindy, and you had let me know that, there would have been some arse kicking. Not only, like, there would have been some behind-the-scenes arse kicking. It's for serious. There we go. So I'm lining around the wings, just to make them stand out. Oh wow, it's 1:15. Time flies, guys. Time flies. We've had a lot of good discussion today. Oh yeah. Well, but terrain is fun, and if that's what she enjoys, Kodiak, then awesome. Like, it always helps. Once you've got somebody into the hobby, it helps to just, like, let them, like, guide their own path. The best you can say is say, all right, if you want to learn how to do anything about smaller figures and techniques, just let me know, and then just let them go. And if they, you know, want to do it, they'll... Hi there, Kiki. Are you saying it's time for our walk before it gets too hot? Are you? Hi, beauty. How's it going? Oh, you have a nice nap. You had a nice nap. Hi, beautiful face. Hi, beautiful face. Yeah, who's my good girl? Who's my good girl? Yeah, if you give me just a moment to wrap up the stream, Kiki, we can go for our walk. It should be much nicer. Yeah, Aaron Hartwell, yep. Yeah, exactly, Twisted Omer. And that's what I'm talking about, is when you see that women are out there kicking butt at it, that gives you permission, right? It gives you that, oh, well, why don't I do it then? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk, Quindy, we'll talk. Oh, weird. I don't know. That's why I think we all message people on, Discord. Green users. Twitch is dumb. always use Discord instead of Twitch. I almost never see my messages. Man, I miss Ed so much. I was thinking about Ed yesterday a lot too. Missing my Ed. I was thinking about what would have happened if I would have ended up just staying at Reaper and not moving. You know, but then Ed would have passed and Reaper wouldn't have felt the same to me after that. Like I didn't realize how much I depended on Ed. Like just how much I leaned on him at my job until like I thought about what would have been like doing my job without Ed. There we go. We'll just get those little highlights in. Oh no, we didn't do one of the, well, it just means we're going to have to mix up these colors again and do the other part of the wing and the other part of the little head. But now I can remember what I did. Actually, you know what? It's time to get a card. Let us just write it down. I know I'm going to forget otherwise, and I'm going to swatch these. Because I like these. And it's also, as I mentioned, this is a very close match for the Bright Skin Triad. Like, we're talking a really close match. Oh, Discord's not too hard. Like, even the highlight color is a little bit, that's pretty much the Bright Skin Triad, guys, right there. We're using it. And I just mixed it from oranges. Let me grab my markers so I can make a note. Boop. So this is Magma plus white. This is Volcanic plus white. This is what I do when it says use this mix. Use this mix plus Osirian sand. And that adds that yellow tone. It also adds a little bit of a muted color. Yes, that's true. You can just use Discord for messaging. It's very handy that way. Yeah, I have servers, obviously, because I have my Painting Big one. I have signed up for a bunch of other ones, but I don't really use them much. Because I don't have time. Alright, guys. Let's back up. Back out. Get our cute bat. Cute bat. So cute. So cute. Cuteness. Cuteness incarnate in Tiny Batling. And I'll probably highlight the eyes just a little bit more. I feel like they're still a little bit too dark. They need to really light up, just like the pumpkin. I might even add some yellow on the bottom. So we'll work with that next time, and we'll probably finish up our skin, and then I'll start doing the blue-black on the wings, on the paws, and anywhere else I want to put it. It is a sweetie Batling. I agree. So yeah, and we're making good progress. I mean, given, again, we're painting the front and we haven't tackled much on the rear, but still. Wait, they have anti-social media, will be all about that. That, actually, green users, getting Discord but only using it for messaging, very antisocial. That would be totally, I think that, wouldn't you think so, guys? Getting Discord and using it only for messaging would be anti-social media? Like, I feel like it would. Because then you're like saying, like, the whole thing the platform is about, you just kick to the curb and you just use it for messaging. I think that's funny. Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stretch time. Everybody stretch. Woo! Wiggle your fingers. Do your Kermit arms. Slow motion Kermit arms. Just slow motion. You might pull something otherwise. Ah. Yeah, because I have despite me being about to run ads on Facebook, I'm pretty anti-Facebook at this point. The only thing I get onto Messenger for is to chat with Christine Van Patten. That's like it. And that's just because that's her preferred mode. So like a couple of the people in my life that I really love to chat with are only on Facebook Messenger, so I just only use it for them. All right. So there we are. We will be back tomorrow working more on Batling. Thank you everybody for hanging out for a very long stream, but I missed yesterday, so I didn't have a big problem with going long today. Let's see if it's going to fry us today. It was supposed to be, yay, it's only 76. I've been walking Kiki and it's been like 88. So like 76 is like heaven. That's awesome. Finally, our heat wave is broken. Fall can come. Ugh. We've been so overheated out here. But yes, thank you. We had a good stream today. It was good. Yeah, Miss Kiki definitely doing better than she was a couple days ago. So she'll be good, Twisted Omo. Now that we know what to do and what she specifically can't do, that makes it a lot easier. So she gets to have a very like relaxed life for the next few weeks. All right, thanks much, Quindy. Thank you so much for herding the cats and organizing the things, and I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, have a great one, everybody. Bye bye.